Hi, I'm going to show you how to simplify a rational expression like this one here. 4x squared minus 28x all over 14x squared minus 2x cubed. So the first thing that we're going to do is to factor everything. Now it may be very tempting to look at this and say, oh, well, I have an x squared right there and an x squared down here, which means I can just cancel those out, just cross them out right now. But that doesn't work. You can't do that. You can't cancel out parts of terms. The only thing you can do is cancel out or reduce or simplify common factors, which means you have to factor before you can start crossing anything out. So the first thing we want to do is factor everything you see, the entire top, the entire bottom. So 4x squared minus 28x, first thing we want to look for is the greatest common factor. And you notice for both of these, we can factor out a 4x. We can divide that out nicely. For the first one, 4x squared, if we factor out 4x, all we're going to be left with is an x. Now minus 28x, if we factor out or divide out this 4x, the only thing we have left is a 7. So that is it factored. You look at both these factors, 4x and x minus 7, there's really nothing left to factor, so that's it. It's done as much as we can. Now for the bottom. 14x squared minus 2x cubed. You notice 2 divides both of them, so that's part of the greatest common factor, and they both have an x squared minimum in them, so we can factor out 2x squared. Once we do that, we are left with 7 minus x. Now that everything's factored, we can go ahead and start canceling things out, reducing them. So let's take a look and see first the numbers, the coefficients that we have out here. So this 4 and this 2, we can go ahead and simplify this. And notice that when we do that, the 2 will cancel out and we're going to be left with 2 just in the top. Next up, the x's. There's an x in the top, x squared in the bottom. So when we go ahead and cancel these out, this x will cancel out and one of those x's in the bottom will cancel out. We'll simplify. So all we'll be left with is x to the first power down in the bottom. So just an x by itself. Now we have this x minus 7 and 7 minus x. And at first glance, you look at them, you notice they're not exactly the same. And typically you need anything to be exactly the same if we want to cancel it out. And x minus 7 does not match 7 minus x. They are, however, opposites. And that's the one time we get to go ahead and reduce or simplify factors that don't match exactly but are really, really close. So we can go ahead and simplify these by canceling them out, but when we do, since they are not identical but opposites, we're going to need to go ahead and multiply in a -1. So just don't forget that step. Looking at that, once we go ahead and simplify, just meaning put back or put in what we have left, that's it. You notice in the top we have 2 times -1, so we are left with -2. In the bottom, the only thing that's here is this x. Everything else simplified out. So we have -2 over x, and that is the original in its most simplified form. So that's our answer right there.